guess I have two songs that I would say of 20 years of being in Nashville that I'm most proud of. The first one was John Michael Montgomery's song, Letters from Home. It was a song that was deeply personal, I guess, at the time that we wrote it. I didn't realize till later how impactful the song would be. I was in the airport, it was right after 9/11, and I saw this man and this girl together, young boy and girl really. But I could tell by looking at him, he was a soldier. He wasn't wearing a uniform or anything. And I knew that we were fixing to go to war in Iraq. Didn't know exactly what was going on, but I had a feeling because her eyes were swollen red and you could tell she'd been crying all night, and she was still in her pajamas at the airport. It was early in the morning, and I was picking up my dad. And something inside me just told me to ask what the deal was. So I asked him if he was in the military, and he said, yes, I am, and we're shipping out, and I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what's happening. And I could tell she was really upset, and I thanked her, hugged her, and thanked her for her service to our country and him as well. And they left, and it just I kept thinking about that young boy and that young girl, and it stayed in my mind for the whole weekend. I even told my dad. My dad said, you need to write a song about that. So every Tuesday, my buddy Tony and I got together to write, and we sat down and I told him this story, and we started talking, and like it always does, somehow or other, you just through the course of conversation, we wound up coming up with this idea, Letters from Home, about a young boy and a girl and a family really telling a story of these letters that were sent to these soldiers while they're over in war. And so we sat down and wrote that song, and it took about 2 hours to write that song. And most songs take forever. I've spent as much as 10 years trying to see a song come to fruition. But this song happened really, really quickly. And we got done with it and really didn't know what we had until it was recorded. And then fast forward just a couple of years later, my wife and I had taken vacation, went over to Italy. And we were there, and this will give you an idea of the impact. And it taught me at that time how important what we do as artists and songwriters. We were in Italy, and we were sitting in this little bar drinking wine and talking. And this guy said, oh, y'all from America? Yeah, well, we are too. You mind if we sit with you? He said, no. And so we sat down. We started talking and sharing some wine. And he said, so what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a songwriter. And he said, you written anything I know? And I said, well, unless you listen to country music, probably not. He said, well, I do. I love country music. And I said, well, I just had a song out called Letters from Home. And he said, you wrote that song? And I said, yeah. And he goes, no way. And I said, yeah, I did. And he looked at his wife and he said, this man wrote Letters from Home. And he was just acting astounded, And he said, that's me and my son's song. I said, it is? He goes, yeah, my son was a soldier in Iraq. He said he was killed last year. And he said, that was our song, man. And he started crying. And his wife started crying. And my wife started crying. And my sister was there, photographer. She was there taking pictures for us. She started crying. And I started drinking more wine. And we sat there and talked, for quite a while. And he said, will you do me a favor? And I said, yes, sir. And he took this bracelet off his wrist and said, would you wear this for my son? And this is 2006, Matthew P. Wallace. I've wore that. I haven't taken it off my wrist since that day. And I've carried his son and his service in my heart the whole time. And I tell that story a lot when I play that song, and it's very impactful. It's one of those things where you realize no matter how far away across an ocean you go, music is more powerful than us as songwriters. The next song I would say that meant a lot to me